2 and 1. Well, Mayor Bob, welcome back. Final time here in 2019. Final time for the decade for Mayor's Monday, WSAU, WSAU.com.
This decade went by fast.
Yeah, it's
really fast.
Certainly flown by, and now here we are. Winter, the holiday season, so everything for the year's just kind of wrapping up as far as
Who would have thought
city
the Packers
business
would
go.
be doing as well as they have? Although they're making me a little nervous, but
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. Somebody
Football.
had said they would have been where they're at a year ago after they got rid of McCarthy. I would have been surprised, but to give them credit, they're hanging in there. They're right up there. I worry about San Francisco, but that'll remain to be seen.
Worry about
New Orleans is good too. So.
Worry about New Orleans. Worry about San Francisco. Worry about Baltimore as well. I mean, it's pretty top heavy this year in the NFL. I can't speak.
That's what they wanted. It was parity years ago, and I think this year they actually got it. And,
Yeah.
I'm just pleased with the way they're playing. Disappointing the way Wisconsin ended their season, regular wise, but there's always next year. Baseball's coming up here in February, so
yeah, absolutely. The Rose Bowl is a pretty good consolation,
right?
I would say, if you're not going to make the college football playoff, if you're going to make the granddaddy of them all, that's it's a good place to be. Yeah, absolutely. And it's a good place to be in Wausau right now too.
It is.
It's another record year of construction on the books. More projects likely to come in the future. We don't have the exact numbers in front of us right now, but commercially, residentially wise, you've got good news to report.
It's the third straight year of record in historic economic development. A year ago we were recognized by the Federal Bureau of Labor Statistics, U.S. Government, as the best city metro here in Wisconsin for that. In October, we got notified by the Wisconsin State Department of Revenue as far as construction starts. We beat everybody in the state. The closest one was Madison at 3%. We were at 5 to 6%. Again, I'll have the exact numbers here coming up, but we could already see going into December that it was going to be another good year for us. Obviously, businesses and residents want to come to Wausau. We've done a lot as far as marketing to professionals, but to everybody. I want to make it where everybody feels welcome here. But again, it's just good to have some good news going into the new year. And if not here at the end of December, certainly in the first part of the year, we have some announcements as far as some other projects that will be coming on the west side of Wausau and also along the riverfront. So this is 3 years in a row of record and historic economic development and job growth. Let's keep it going. There's a lot of good positive things happening in Wausau. And as I've said before, the area is just going to be transformed. There's a lot of good positive things happening.
I know
I'm really excited about the future.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about the riverfront. Obviously, we were there when the park was opened. We've got buildings over there that are ready to turn over. We've got talk of a new brew pub coming to that area, which of course is always going to perk my interest as somebody that likes to travel and likes to try something different every now and then. But you mentioned
still travel with the car too.
Exactly. Yeah, just not combining.
We got Uber now, so use that or the cab.
Absolutely. But you mentioned projects on the west side. I know you said it's too early to talk, specifics and things like that. But what, specifically are you looking for? Residential, commercial, manufacturing, things like that.
It's on the west side of town. That'll be announced here going into January. Like I said, we also have on the horizon some possible new projects that we could announce going into the early part of the year. It's a little early right now. Things have to be finalized. The talks on the mall and what we do to repurpose that continue. I'm seeing a lot of different and exciting things. It's still being discussed as far as what exactly will be done over there, but it'll be a variety of things. I'm going to guess like a mixture of housing, some specialty shops, stuff like that. Because we do need more housing downtown, or at least that's one of the things that have been stated. Because our downtown is very vibrant. Again, we've got the best numbers and market in the state as far as less than 3% of anything open. That's unheard of. And there's a lot of good positive things happening. And 2020, I think, is going to be another excellent year. It's certainly shaping up to be as such.
Absolutely. And one thing that, as we're recording this, we had actually, just talked about this morning as far as housing outside of downtown, the Ponderosa Motel property. We've got at least one proposal on the table for it. It looks like tomorrow we may go through an RFP process, but I know specifically the company that's got the proposal on the table is looking at something that would be really different as for Wausau as far as housing goes.
It was far more different than what I thought, because I had been told that maybe it needs to be raised, that type of thing. That's the indication we had initially. But a company has come in to offer possibilities as far as what they could do to utilize that old facility, update it, etc. Obviously, it's just the start of this, so there's a whole lot more that needs to be done. I recognize the residents down in that area and things that they would like or things that they would not like. So, I want to take them into consideration as well. But really, it's still just starting, so to speak. And this kind of came up fast. But again, it just goes to show that outside businesses and developers are interested in Wausau, and we want to keep that going. I know there'll be more news as far as the Ponderosa coming up.
Yeah, it's certainly something we're going to be keeping an eye on as we go into the new year, and especially as as the process plays out, because we do, likely may go through an RFP process with this as well. And I talked with the developers; they said they're open to that as well. You got to look out for your community, but certainly it was something that caught my eye because it wasn't what you would typically see as
Right.
far as housing goes, and that's obviously something different, something that might be needed here in Wausau too.
Well, I think there's a call for it, and we're open-minded. Again, this is just something that just kind of came up here recently. I am pleased that people are wanting to come to town, though.
Mhm.
That's been shown here the last couple of years. And really, folks, that's our future. That's what's going to be creating the tax base and the jobs created for the future of our city. So I'm always welcoming of that.
Yeah, and as far as the future goes and into 2020, I mean, is there anything that we should be looking out for early on in 2020 besides maybe some new development news?
Some new developments, but just like everything else we've done here the last couple of years, including the Ponderosa project, I want to be cognizant of the residents and the neighborhood, if you will. Make sure that it's something that would fit in, if you want to call it that, get their feedback. For anything that we've done here in the last 3.5 years, we've had numerous public hearings and meetings so that folks know what's going on and happening. And really, be it with new development or new infrastructure, most people understand the reason why and seem pleased by it. I think most people can see that Wausau is growing in a positive way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wasn't always positive for Wausau though in 2019, especially in recent days. If anybody then the national news that Googled Wausau or looked up Wausau had to find out about an ordinance that's been on the books since 1962,
And I was born in '66.
just-
So folks, no matter what some members of the national media said, I did not create it, and it is my responsibility to enforce it. As a matter of fact, our Public Health and Safety Committee will be reviewing that to see if we do take Snowball out, because this seems to be a story that pops up every. Well, I've been here almost 8 years, and I've heard about it twice. Very candidly, I don't know how. We were interviewed by Channel 7 here a few weeks ago, just as far as providing the facts, as far as this ordinance and everything. And somehow the national media, some members really got the story wrong. I'd almost say deliberately, as far as trying to create a problem that just honest to God wasn't there.
Barstool Sports being one of them.
Fox, Breitbart, whatever, and that's not trying to target anybody, I guess, and I've heard whatfinger.com, etc. And the part that I find disappointing, you can tell that gone are the days of Cronkite and fact checking. It was a little disappointing and very frustrating because really nobody locally contacted us. Everybody knew what was going on, ho-hum. And this is an ordinance that all the cities around us, cities in Wisconsin, cities across the nation have in effect.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow the national media really made it sound completely worse than it truly was, and that we're the town that doesn't like to have fun, which just isn't the case. So
Right.
it was very frustrating at first because we were getting phone calls and messages on email, very ugly, some threatening messages. Sometimes I just wish people would sit back and learn the facts before they comment.
Mm-hmm.
They have that right to, and I made a point to contact just about everybody that had contacted us, and city staff being harassed, etc. I know it's a different world, but it really did create a problem. That said, both myself and Chief Ben Bliven from the Wausau Police Department got together and basically said the same thing. Let's make this into something fun and positive, but let's get our message across. And hey, media, you really should fact check and do things correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And as it was on the Facebook page for the Wausau Police Department, they run an excellent social media site.
They do, yes.
I've heard there's hundreds of thousands of shares and views, etc. And we got together, you know, it was kind of Ben and I, and just like, you know, we should do something to make this where we got a sense of humor, have a little fun with it. And we did. And we had a snowball fight, explaining the ordinance, explaining when it took effect, 1962. Again, I was born in 66, and I know I'm at least 10 years older than just about all the other officers. Sigh. But we had fun with it. And there was a good shot from Deputy Chief Matt Barnes. As far as the snowball, we could not have choreographed it any better. Of course, I played it up where I was kind of punch drunk afterward. But to get the message out, national media, you should get your stuff together and find and check your facts before you report such erroneous stories. Because really, I don't know why they did it, other than to create a slow news day or generate controversy. I was just really surprised because I heard people from Arizona, Montana, Texas, Florida, Ohio. That guy was particularly nasty, and he was the only one that wouldn't listen to what I had to say. South Carolina, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, anyway, across the Montana, I think I said. But anyways, I contacted all these folks, and I said, please watch this video. And I heard back, and people were just wonderful. One, they apologized. Two, why would they do this? And I'm like, I don't know. And they say there's no such thing as bad publicity, but you know, that's something we don't want from an image for our city. There's a reason why the ordinance is on the books. But again, we wanted to show that we were fun and had a sense of humor, but also be direct. You know, folks, don't believe everything you see or hear on television or the media.
And you brought up a good point in there I kind of wanted to touch on here before we let you go. You talk about you possibly removing the term snowball from the ordinance.
Yeah, we're, you know, a projectile. You like to think that most people would have common sense. And Deputy Chief Barnes explained the reasons why we have such an ordinance. People using crossbows or bows and arrows. We've had people throw sandbags from the top of our parking structures. Well, obviously you'd like to think common sense would dictate. But if it's anything that's taught me after this, sometimes I don't think common sense is always there. Unfortunately, some folks hear something and they just run with it. And it's really kind of a shame. I don't know how to counter that or whatever. But like I said, we want to make it into something positive and fun. Show that we had a sense of humor. I've heard nothing but good things. I've been stopped literally 100 times. People just loved it. And they love the fact that we had some fun with it and to get our message across. So we'll see what happens. I have yet to hear back from any national media outlets. Not that I've even tried calling them. I'm not going to waste my time. It is what it is. I just wish that folks, and I would recommend that, you know, find out the facts before you say or write something. The part I found distressing was that staff members of mine were really unfairly beaten up. And I understand there's folks that are angry and whatever today. I really wish it wouldn't be like that, especially this time of year. It's Christmas time. And I'd like to wish all the residents of Wausau and all your viewers and listeners in the WSIU region, we have a lot to be thankful for, a lot to be blessed about. And I wish each and every one of you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, or whatever way you celebrate the holiday season. Remember, it's a time for joy, it's a time for Jesus, and it's time for family. And there's a lot of good positive things, and going into 2020, it's going to get even better.
Absolutely. Well, this was a snowball-free. I did not bring a snowball in, so we had a snowball-free
I appreciate that because it's cold out. So.
It is cold outside. I almost brought it in and set it right down there on your desk, but you know, again, it's cold outside. So, yes, we got through another snowball-free edition. Look forward to where that goes, possibly in 2020, and again, all that's to come within the next year. We'll look forward to another great.
2020 is shaping up to be an excellent year. We've had 3 excellent ones. We're going to have another one. Take care. God bless.